Welcome to the SG Sports channel. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the SG Sports channel. My name is Shardo Gupta. I would like to welcome my special guest to my channel, Mr. Grant Cohn. Hey,
What's
Grant.
up, Shardal?
It's really nice to have you part of my channel. It's one time that we get to have this one-on-one interview with you and me. So I was really hoping for this to happen, and I'm really happy that we were able to make it happen. So
Me too. Good to see you, Shardal. Thanks for having me.
For making this happen. So it's a dream come true for me.
Me too.
Get to meet you. I'm on the Cohn phone all the time, you know.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
So my question to you is about Kyle Shanahan. Do you think he should go for be the coach for the Vegas Raiders, or do you think that's a little of a far-fetched move for him? Because I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna probably stay in San Francisco for a couple more years, and then if that doesn't work out, he probably might decide to leave if the plan doesn't work out.
Well, I mean, what do you think they should do, Shardal? Do you like Kyle Shanahan at this point? What are your feelings on Shardal on Kyle Shanahan? Sorry.
I don't think they should trade him because that's going to be a bad move because but the Vegas Raiders don't have a coach, but I don't think so. Would you think that somebody experienced as Kyle Shanahan would bring depth to that team if he would go there?
Well, here, look at it this way. If the 49ers don't do you think Kyle Shanahan's doing a good job so far this year?
I think he's doing a pretty good job, but the only problem with Kyle Shanahan is that he puts injured players in the game when they're injured, and then he doesn't really pay attention to who's the injured players and who's the suitable players to put in the game. And he's putting players who are hurt all the time.
Okay, here's my thing. Look, they don't have a first-round pick next year or the year after that because they traded him to get Trey Lance, and that hurts. So if they feel like they don't want Kyle Shanahan anymore, well, here's the thing. Would you rather have Kyle Shanahan and the job he's doing right now and no first-round picks the next 2 years, or another coach and first-round picks? Because what you could theoretically do is trade Kyle Shanahan for a couple of first-round picks. The Raiders did that 20 years ago. They traded John Gruden to the Buccaneers for 2 firsts and 2 seconds. So you might like Kyle Shanahan, but do you like him better than another coach and the draft pick you could get in a trade for Kyle Shanahan? That's one way to look at it. What do you think?
I mean, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, it's the way you analyze the situation. I mean, if you look at it in a good light, it's good. But if you probably don't look at it in a good light, then it's probably not a good way to look at it.
Well, because I feel like a lot of Niner fans say, well, I don't want to fire Kyle Shanahan. And I think that's smart because I think he has trade value. So if they ever decided that he wasn't the right coach for their team, and I'm not sure that they're there yet, but I might be, then you call the Raiders and you say, look, we got this great coach that we wouldn't dare get rid of, but if you want to give us 2-3 first-round picks, we could talk.
The thing I don't understand about Kyle Shanahan is the fact that Trey Lance is a rookie, and he keeps putting Trey Lance in the game, and he keeps getting him injured, and he doesn't want to put Jimmy Garoppolo in the game. So he has a conflict between either should I put Trey Lance in the game or should I put Jimmy Garoppolo in the game?
And it now seems to me that every quarterback Kyle Shanahan has coached on the 49ers has gotten hurt. Hoyer got hurt. Beathard got hurt. Jimmy's gotten hurt multiple times. Lance has gotten hurt multiple times. Mullins got hurt. I think Kyle Shanahan doesn't do a great job of protecting his quarterbacks, no matter what kind of quarterback they are, what their style is. I think there's a lot of things that I'm not really excited about with Kyle Shanahan, and this is one of them. Look at his track record protecting the most important player on the field. It's not good.
So you think Kyle Shanahan is not doing a great job as a head coach of this?
I don't think he's doing a great job as a head coach, and I think John Lynch isn't doing a great job as a general manager. The two of them have put together a team where all the important players are injury prone. Like George Kittle has been MIA for 2 years. Nick Bosa's doing a good job. Fred Warner's doing a good job. But I don't like the makeup of this team. It's old and injury prone, and every year there's excuses for why they don't make the playoffs. Now, it all worked out in 2019, but if it doesn't work out this year, I would start over. I don't think it was ever the plan that they were going to miss the playoffs 4 of the first 5 years.
So do you have so basically you don't want to throw shade on Kyle Shanahan saying that he's not a great head coach, but I mean, if he's not doing great things as a head coach, what are you going to say? I mean, you're not going to say the wrong facts. I mean, you're just going to say the facts.
Yeah, I mean, if he can win a bunch of games this year and make it to the playoffs and finish strong, then he's going to stay here for a long time. It's up to him. But at the same time, if he can't get results, he's not our friend. He's not in our family. I mean, he needs to produce, or else someone else needs to have a chance to lead this team back to where it was in the 80s and the 90s. Because the way I feel, and people probably a little older than me feel, is that the Niners used to be the best organization in sports, not just football. And it should be held to that standard. Like, we should want that. We should want the return of the 80s and 90s Walsh days to come back. And this isn't even close to that. It isn't even as good as the Harbaugh days. At least Harbaugh had an ability to kind of consistently win in the regular season. His worst season, he went 8-8. Kyle is really struggling to just find consistent mediocrity. So, yeah, it's time for him to find some answers.
So for Kyle Shanahan, would you say that he's a friend and a foe? That sometimes he's a friend to his quarterback and he treats his
quarterback. I'm gonna put it for me personally. He's neither. He's neither my friend nor my foe. It's business. I cover the 49ers, and he's the fourth head coach I've covered. He won't be the last. He won't be the last. They come and they go, and I stick around, and I just try to, assess them all fairly, and as I would the previous one, the next one.
What do you think Kyle Shanahan should do if he wants to lead this team to victory in the Super? If they make it all the way to the Super Bowl, what are some things he should work on and improve on? Because right now he's not doing any of those
things. Leadership, people skills, decision making,
huge mistakes.
Leadership, people skills, decision making. I think he's the kind of guy who has a lot of great ideas, although I haven't seen many this year. But when it comes to like being a leader and making a decision, you can see it with the quarterback thing. The reason he could fail with the 49ers is because he never made up his mind on who his quarterback was going to be. He wanted Kirk Cousins, but didn't wait for him. Then he switched to Jimmy Garoppolo, but was never that enthusiastic about him. Had an opportunity to draft Patrick Mahomes, didn't do it. Had an opportunity to sign Tom Brady, said no. He could never kind of make up his mind, and now he's got two quarterbacks that it seems like he's not particularly enthusiastic about. Hey, man, no one was forcing you to take these players. You could have had Patrick Mahomes. You could have had Matthew Stafford. You could have done these things, but you didn't make up your mind. And to me, it's like a lack of leadership.
I mean, I'm just saying that, all those players, it was kind of disappointing because if we signed all those players, there would be more depth, It would be really excited to see Tom Brady in a 49 uniform. That would be pretty exciting, but don't know why that didn't make that happen, because all the Niner fans were really hopeful to see Brady at Levi's in a Niner uniform.
Because Kyle Shanahan didn't want him. I mean, doesn't that make you – I mean, to me, it makes me lose confidence in a guy who thought Tom Brady couldn't help his team. I mean, it's Tom Brady. What are you talking about?
I mean, that's an easy decision. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks. I mean, you don't think he's going to be able to lead your team?
Yeah, and also when they had the third pick in the draft in 2017, a lot of people say you can't really judge the first couple of years of Shanahan's tenure because he inherited a bad team, and Harbaugh inherited a better team. Well, what he inherited was kind of a blank slate with a lot of cap space and high draft picks. And what did he do with it? He spent that number 3 pick on Solomon Thomas, not Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. That's tough. How did you do that? And there were also, I mean, even if you didn't want a quarterback, there was Christian McCaffrey. There were other guys there that you could have taken. You took the worst player. Hard to come back from that one. Just
like is. It's so weird. Like if Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to draft Mahomes and something like that, if I had Madden 21 or I had a Madden football game and I made a 49 team, I would draft Brady on my team, Mahomes on my team.
Yeah, you would think so, right?
Team with everybody.
And so finally he waits 5 years and makes a move for Trey Lance, and you're thinking, okay, well, he passed on Brady, Mahomes, Watson, but at least he got someone he wants, and just wait and see what he does with the guy he wants. And so far, it's the least creative thing we could have imagined. All he does is give him the ball and make him run between the tackles and get hit by a bunch of people. It's really strange. It's like he traded up for Tim Tebow. It's so strange, Charlotte. I don't get it.
Do you think in the NFL draft, do you think when they skipped on Mac Jones and went for Trey Lance, did you see 49er fans kind of surprised about that they skipped out on Mac Jones and select Mac Jones and went to Trey Lance at number 3?
I don't think Niner fans were surprised. I think Niner fans were dreading that they would take Mac Jones. I think the big mistake the Niners made was trading up a month before the draft. They traded up without a player in mind. I mean, Kyle wanted Mac Jones. The rest of the organization wanted Trey Lance. And I'm not sure that you needed to trade up to number 3 to get a quarterback. Like if Mac Jones went 15th, Justin Fields went 11th, we don't know where Trey Lance would have went had the Niners not traded up to 3. He might have been there at 12. I think a lot of teams had Justin Fields ranked higher than Trey Lance on their board. So I'm not really sure that the Niners had any clue about the market at quarterback, like where these guys are really going to go. Kyle thought he needed to trade up to 3 to get Mac Jones. Well, you misread the market. He was going to be there at 12. He went 15th. So you traded up to 3 to take Trey Lance. Well, what if Trey Lance would have been there at 12 too? I think what happened was the Niners made a really desperate move, and now they're kind of flailing. Trey Lance could work out. I like Trey Lance, but the way that I don't think they ever really had a plan. I think they kind of, and that's why I think they need a new general manager. This is no way to do business. Trade up a month before the draft and not know who you want and then kind of figure it out along the way. That's not how good teams do it. The Rams and the Cardinals have 2 really good general managers. Steve Keim in Arizona and Les Snead in LA. Those guys are strong general managers who hired the head coaches they work with. There's a power dynamic there. Those are the bosses. And they work with the head coach. They take input, but those are strong guys who are good at their craft. I don't think the Niners really – I think the Niners' attitude is, look, Kyle doesn't know how to – he's not a general manager, but he knows what his offense needs, so he can be close. He can be good enough. But I think we're seeing, no, you actually need someone who is a good general manager who's worked his way through the ranks and was a scout and those things, and not just a guy who was a player and then was an announcer or a coach. It's a real job that takes expertise.
So for Jimmy Garoppolo, do you think that his season is over with the injury, or do you think that his season is over because people are saying that this guy's season might be over? This might be a season-ending injury for him.
It's hard. It's always hard to know. Last year they made it seem like he was just coming back. He's going to come back soon, and he didn't. It's a calf strain. My guess is he'll play against the Colts this weekend. I think he needs to show that he's not injury prone. It's in his interest to come back and play and win. And the Colts are terrible. They're 1-4. That's a game that he could win. I think that he should want to play in that game. I wouldn't necessarily say that he's going to be out the rest of the season. I don't think so.
But when I looked at who's the starting quarterback for Indianapolis, it said Trey Lance was going to be starting in that game.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Shanahan just talked a couple of days ago. It's their bye week. Trey Lance has a left knee sprain. Jimmy Garoppolo has a calf strain. So they're being very secretive. Both of their quarterbacks are injured. And I guess if Jimmy's healthy, he'll play. By next week, he'll have 3 weeks to have healed. So we'll see.
Then if both quarterbacks are injured, how does that work out? Because then if they're both injured, then they need to find somebody else, and then there's a third.
Nate Sudfeld starts.
Yeah,
Nate Sudfeld.
But everybody says that people don't really like Sudfeld. He's not such a great quarterback. I mean, he's a backup quarterback, so I mean, if he's not the best, and then you have to put him in as a backup for the injured for Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, and he's not the greatest quarterback on this team. It's still like, even if he's not the best, he still can have a great game, and he can still play super well. I mean, is that your thoughts about even the worst?
I don't think Sudfeld's going to play. I think it's more likely that both Garoppolo and Lance play than neither of them play. They've said that Garoppolo was close to being able to play against the Cardinals. So 2 more weeks, you'd think he should be good. And then they also said with Lance that the injury isn't super serious, that it's a 1 to 2 week injury. So he'll either miss the Colts game and be back for the Bears game, or he'll be cool for the Colts game. So I don't think they're going to be down to the Nate Sudfeld level. And if they are, they'll lose.
He's not a great quarterback in your opinion?
He's a 3rd string quarterback. He's on the practice squad, which means no, he's not an NFL quarterback. But I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't. Because it seems to me that I don't know. I just think that I think Lance could play through it if it's look, Garoppolo can't play. It's either you or Sudfeld. I bet he could play through it. Not that they just made it seem so not serious. It's 1 to 2 weeks. It's not that bad. We don't know when it happened. It's not. He did have an MRI, but I just feel like he could probably gut it out. He could probably gut it out if Jimmy does it.
What are your thoughts of them signing Jock Patrick from the Bengals practice squad and then signing cornerback Buster Screen?
They're gone. They're both gone off the team now.
Oh, they're not on the team anymore?
Yeah, I know. Just as quickly as they came, let me just make sure. Kez Patrick, roster moves. Hold on. This was 2 days ago. They waived Kez Patrick. I think Buster Screen's still on the team, though. Let me make sure. Hold on. No, he's gone too. They released Buster Screen. He's gone. So, see ya. You're muted.
So why did they let Jock Patrick go? I mean, he just got signed from the Bengals practice squad recently, and they let him go.
I guess he was here while Elijah Mitchell was injured, and now Elijah Mitchell's coming back, so they don't need him anymore.
Oh, so they don't need him anymore?
That's, I think, probably what Kyle Shanahan would say. Look, we picked him up because Mitchell was hurt, and now Mitchell's back. Look, they don't even hand the ball off to running backs anymore anyway, Chardall. It's all about they just say, Trey Lance, you're your own running back. Sorry. We don't let you hand off. You have to do everything by yourself.
So the game October 24th against the Indianapolis Colts, what do you think the score is going to be? Do you think it's going to be a well-played game, really close?
It's a little early to project that one. We don't know which quarterback's going to play. We don't know what the injuries is going to be, but let me just say it this way. I think the Niners should win. No matter which quarterback starts, they should win. And if they don't, people are really going to start calling for Kyle Shanahan's job. Losing at home off a bye week, to have 4 losses in a row, another loss at home. They've lost 9 of their last 10 home games. They got to win this game. This is such a must-win game, and I think they will win the game. So it's kind of high stakes, but they should win this.
Are you saying that when you say it's a must-win game, is it kind of like in the playoffs when it's a must-win? Like win or go home type of deal?
Yeah, I guess it's not win or go home. It just seems like if they lose this one, they'll be 2-4, 4 losses in a row. They still have 4 more games in the division. They couldn't beat Seattle or Arizona the first time. It seems like if they can't beat Indianapolis and they fall to 2-4, they're pretty much the odds of them making the playoffs are slim none. So, got to win this game.
The only game that really upset me to watch was Green Bay, because that was the closest game. Mason Crosby hit that 51-yard field goal, and that was the closest game I've ever seen. I mean, I've never seen a game go down to the wire.
Right,
it's close.
It's kind of heartbreaking to have.
That was the most nerve-wracking game, but Seattle was not nerve-wracking. That was they fought well in that game, so at least it wasn't nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
but without the Green Bay game was just heartbreaking, man. Because it was 27-27, and I thought that Mason Crosby missed that because he's not a great field goal kicker.
Right.
People are saying that Mason Crosby has not been so great as a field goal kicker.
Right.
He's been really bad.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he makes it because he missed $1 million last week against the Bengals, right?
Yeah, a lot of them. So I mean, but people keep denying that he's not a great kicker. I mean, Niner fans don't think he's a good kicker, but Green Bay Packer fans think he's a good kicker. I mean,
hey, at least he's healthy, unlike Robbie Gould, right?
But do you think the new kicker Josh Sly? Do you think he's gonna? Were you pretty excited to see his debut? He started his debut when you saw Josh Sly kick it. I was like ecstatic when I saw Josh Sly kick the field goal.
Me too.
When they put Josh Sly in the game.
Wow, that's what I felt.
That was his debut. Any Niner fan will be excited for debut of Josh Sly to come in the game and kick a field goal, and then
that's what I think.
Yeah. I was waiting for that moment.
Yeah, what a moment. Yeah.
I was waiting for that moment to have them put Josh Sly in the game.
Yeah, me too.
I was waiting, like, when are they going to put Josh Sly as a kicker? When are they going to put Josh Sly?
I was thinking that too, and then they did.
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Are you wearing a Garoppolo jersey?
Yeah.
Nice. Never going to give him up. Never going to let him down.
So what do you think the season the end what do you think the score at the end of the season, the what is it going to look like in the standings? How many wins or losses will the 49ers have?
I'm starting to think maybe 8 or 9 wins. I'm not. I think they'll win. I think they'll win this week. I think they'll win not this week. Next week against the Colts. The week after against the Bears. I think they should win the next 2 games. But then after that, they got the Cardinals and the Rams, and I don't think the Niners really match up well with any of the teams in their division. I don't know. I mean, really, what it would take for this team to take off and make a playoff run is for one of the quarterbacks to really improve, or for Kyle Shanahan to like get back to what he was doing 2 years ago. And I don't see Kyle Shanahan figuring it out anytime soon, unless this is the time during the bye week. And then I don't know if Trey. I mean, Jimmy doesn't improve. I'm sorry. He's always the same. And then Trey, I don't know if he's been given enough opportunity. He would need a lot of playing time. The whole thing with Trey, I thought, was if you started him week 1, by the end of the season, he would have taken all these strides, but the Niners wouldn't give him the reps in training camp, and they didn't start him the first 4 games. They may not start up next week. This team may kind of be just sort of treading water, not good, not bad, right in the middle.
So if this team wants to strive for greatness and be a great team, but what should they work on if they want to be one of the greatest teams in football? If they want to
All right. Okay, a couple things. The defense is playing really well, but they've only forced 2 turnovers all season. It was Dre Greenlaw's pick 6 week 1, and then Dante Johnson's strip last week. They had the same issue with Robert Saleh, I want to say 2017, 28. It was one of those. They couldn't force turnovers. They got to find a way to force turnovers, because as they're seeing, they can play great defense all game and lose if they can't get the ball back. And then on offense, they got to find their running game again. What Kyle Shanahan used to do was make life easy on a quarterback. Like when he went to Atlanta, Matt Ryan for years was in the situation where there was no run game, no run game, no play action. And he would just have to get the ball in the shotgun, drop back, pressure in his face, throw to Julio, throw to Roddy White. And it's hard. It's hard to do that when you're one-dimensional and there's only one thing the defense has to worry about, and they can tee off. So what Kyle did is he come in and is like, look, I'm not going to ask you to do everything. I'm going to give you a running game. I'm going to give you play action. You're going to throw less than you did in the past. You're going to hand off more, but your efficiency will go through the roof. Your numbers will go through the roof, and it worked. And that's what he did in 2019 for Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy didn't have to do a lot to have great numbers and win. I mean, there was a lot of handing off, a lot of short throws, and people were like, wow, Kyle really, really makes things easy on his quarterbacks. He doesn't do that anymore. It seems so hard for Jimmy. It seems so hard for Lance. And it's like, did you lose your touch, Kyle? What happened? Did the league catch up to you? Because that's really what happens to most coaches. They have great ideas. The rest of the league looks at the ideas. The defensive coaches are smart too, and they're like, okay, it'll take me a couple of years, but this is what we got to do, and I'm going to coach my guys, and let's see if you have an answer for my answer. And the best coaches do, not all do. Kyle seems to be a little stuck. He seems to have like writer's block right now. I don't see the answers to the problems the defenses are presenting. I mean, right now, I'll be specific. So every team is stopping his running game. They're like, okay, your identity as an offense is a run first offense. So we're going to play 6 players on the 6 defenders on the line and just kind of take away your run game and dare you to pass. And we'll live with that because you don't want to pass. You want to set up your run first. And by putting like the 6-man front, you saw what Kyle Shanahan did against the Cardinals. He just passed. And it's not how the Niners execute well. All of a sudden, they're not as good. So what you do is you take them out of what they want to do well and force them to pass, and they don't have a quarterback they trust. That's where Kyle Shanahan is at right now. And I think the only real – what would solve this, Chardal? Having Tom Brady. Having Tom Brady would solve it. But they don't. So when teams dare you to pass and you have Trey Lance back there or Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle doesn't feel comfortable with either one. Well, it's his fault, man. You could have had Tom Brady.
What are your thoughts of Kyle Shanahan going to Atlanta with to team up with Matt Ryan?
No, it's a good topic though. Where could the Niners trade him? They just hired a coach. So I don't think they would fire him after 1 year, although sometimes teams do that. I'm thinking 2 teams. One is a no-brainer, the Raiders. The Raiders. The other one is a sleeper, Minnesota. Do you know why I say that?
Why do you say Minnesota?
Cousins. Kirk Cousins. You know he wants to work with Kirk Cousins. And they've had the same coach for a very long time, Mike Zimmer, and they're not going anywhere. What is their record right now? Let me see. They are 2-3, just like the Niners. If they don't make the playoffs, they might eventually get rid of that coach. And I don't know who better to coach Kirk Cousins than Kyle Shanahan. Just saying. You're muted.
I have another question for you.
Sure.
Is Buster Posey going to be a Hall of Famer?
It seems like he probably will. I used to think that he didn't deserve it. One of my friends made a good argument to me that he's one of the few catchers in the history of baseball who's a career 300 hitter, which is an interesting argument. He also just doesn't have like that many hits, that many RBIs, that many home runs, but he is a career 302 hitter. He has gold gloves. If Yadier Molina is going to be a Hall of Famer, then Posey probably will too. I guess. Although I think if he gets in, then they got to let in Posada too. That's my thing. You can't put in Posey without putting in Jorge Posada. You wouldn't know about Jorge Posada. That was you before your time. That was my era. But he was the catcher for the Yankees when they won all their World Series in the 90s, and he was a switch hitter. He was such a better hitter. I thought he was just a phenomenal hitter.
I have a question from Barry Baller. He says, Grant, how do you think Trey would be utilized by Shanahan? What was the most frustrating thing about the game plan versus the Cards?
Say it again.
Grant, how do you think Trey would be utilized by Kyle Shanahan?
What was
the most frustrating thing about the game plan versus the Arizona Cardinals?
I thought Kyle Shanahan looked at Trey Lance and said, man, that's a guy who can run my offense. I don't need to make wholesale changes for him the way I would for like Justin Fields, because Justin Fields came from a spread offense and I would need to teach him a lot. Lance came from under center, so I'm going to insert him into my offense, put him under center, put him in the play action game, and it's going to enhance the play action game. Of course, we're going to do a little zone read from the pistol too, but that's not going to be the basis of what I'm doing with him because he was a 3rd pick in the draft, and I see him as being John Elway, or I see him as being Josh Allen. Like I'm going to use some zone read, but I'm also trying to groom him to be the best quarterback in the league and to fit my system. But right now they're using him like he's Tebow. When he's in the game, there's no running back in the backfield. And half the time, like they're just like, all right, now run between the tackles and get 4 yards. Like, why? Why would you ask him to get 4 yards? All he's doing is kind of like kind of stutter stepping between the hole and then diving forward. Like, you do better just handing off to Elijah Mitchell between the tackles. What is that? So to me, this is there's no creativity. It's almost like him making a statement. Like, this guy's terrible. He's Tim Tebow 2.0, so that's how I'm going to use him. Or he's just a bad coach now. I don't know. Because like it's one thing to run Lance a ton of times. But like, how about with misdirection, a zone read, a running back going this way and him going outside the tackles with blockers? But no, it's like no misdirection, nothing, just between the tackles. It's draws and power plays with the quarterback. That's something, it's almost like you're trying to get the quarterback hurt. So I don't like it at all.
So we have a question from Amin the Dream. He says, do you think it's time to move on from Shanahan? Is its 5th year as the coach, and he has 1 winning season? Most coaches would have gone fired by now.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough. It's kind of surprising that Niner fans are still kind of like resistant to change, but I think we've seen enough from not just Kyle, but John Lynch too. This team has a lot going for it, and I do think you could get a very good general manager to come into this team and a very good head coach. And I think you could get some of these picks back if you traded Kyle and Kittle. Kyle and Kittle are the 2 guys I would trade. Kyle and Kittle.
So that question from Barry Bullock says, Grant, thoughts on Nick Bosa at the presser saying Trey needs to learn to slide or learn a better juke move?
I mean, he's keeping it real. He's right. He can't take those hits. And one of the things, if people remember Colin Kaepernick, he won a lot of games when he was young in his career, when he was running around. And I don't remember him ever getting hit hard, ever. I was watching Trey Lance in this game. Every time I was like, oh, what are you, hey, man, like, why are you letting him do that to you? Colin Kaepernick would either always get out of bounds or he would slide. And that's preservation, man. If you can't do those things, then you're gonna be hurt a lot. And he's hurt right now. So Bosa's just keeping it real. He's keeping it real.
But it's we're at the 30-minute mark. We said we would do this stream for 30 minutes. So
thanks, Shardal.
I just want to say
I gotta get back to work, but this was a lot of fun.
I just want to say thanks
we'll do it again, all right?
For hopping on my channel. It's always I mean, I try to get all these professional people on my channel, like you, Jackhammer, all these other people. I try to get as many people as possible to get on my channel. If they're free and they don't have nothing on their minds, they could try to hop on my channel. But it was an honor to have you on my channel, man. I just love, because I wanted to interview. I was like having a time, like when would I interview Grant?
This is the best interview that I've ever been a part of. Thank you very much. I just want to say I'm very busy during the football season. It's hard cover the team and do the YouTube stuff, but we'll do it again. Like when the season's over in it'll be over in like 2 months. So we'll do it again. All right.
Everybody's saying great show.
It was a great show. You're a natural. So much natural confidence. You're just a real entertainer. Plus you ask great questions. So thank you.
Yeah, it was really great. Would
you do me a favor and send me a copy of this so I can put it on my YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll send this on your YouTube channel. But just whenever you're free, and you're not busy, I'll just always hit you up on Twitter. We could do this again some other time.
All right, let's sounds good.
Yeah, but it was great. Cool. I hope you have a great one, Grant.
All right, you too, Shardal.
See ya.